Well, Darren, I suppose you're just delighted to be back, aren't you? After such a long wait and all of the uncertainty, just to be back out on the training field.
Oh, absolutely. We've had a few weeks now. For the younger group, this is the fourth week. But no, it's great to be back on the grass. Players have come back in really good nick. So I've been delighted with it.
Yeah, and from a coaching point of view, to have had the younger lads back earlier, do you feel like you're into a real routine, even though the senior pros haven't been back as long?
Yeah, they definitely are. Like I said, that they're in the fourth week now. So, but the other ones have come back in. They're in the testing and everything we did. We're happy with. We're happy where they are at the moment now. Coming to the end of their second week. So normally it would be a 6-week pre-season you would probably have. So we've had an extended 2 weeks, obviously because of the lockdown. So we're gradually getting them there. Then we'll start obviously having games. We'll have more games than normal this pre-season. But no, I'm happy with them. They've been doing a lot of work anyway. Before obviously we had to follow them off the pitch anyway. So we weren't overly concerned about what condition they would come back.
Yeah, so they all came back looking good, because it's a new challenge, isn't it, to have been away from football for so long?
It is a new challenge for everyone. We never obviously experienced this before. But we feel that we've tried to get all the dates and bringing the younger ones back and the timing of when we brought the other group back. We feel that gives us enough time to really get the work we need into them, plus to get them extra games pre-season, and particularly extra 90-minute games. We've sort of arranged games around playing 2 90 minutes in one day towards the end of pre-season. So, and we've got some good opposition. So I think we're very pleased with how we've planned it.
Yeah, clearly there's still a certain amount of uncertainty with things to be published around cup competitions and the exact structure heading into the new season. But are you pretty confident you have everything as you want it?
Yeah, we are. We feel that we've prepared and organised and got them back in dates that I wanted. I was lucky the owners agreed to that, because obviously there was the two things that fell with that as well, was the one unfollowing all the players, and then obviously the cost of the testing. But the owners have been great, and the chairman and Randy and Jason have been fantastic in the sense that they've allowed us to pretty much do what we wanted, giving us an 8-week pre-season, obviously a 10-week one for the other lads. So I think we'll be spot on come the start of the season. We obviously know it's now the start of the first league games, the 12th. There's perhaps going to be the cup game before that on the 5th. So, but we feel that we're ready. Yeah, we will be ready anyway.
Yeah, and do you have to be conscious going into this one? It's going to be a season other, and clearly one part of it that will be very different. The game's coming thick and fast. The amount of actual training time you'll have during the season itself may well be limited.
Well, it will be a lot more limited than normal. Obviously, you are used to Saturday games, but nowhere near the level we're going to get this season. So I've looked at the season as how it will sort of pan out, and there's going to be a lot less training sessions, which makes pre-season even more important in terms of the work that we do with them. And I think there's probably going to be about, certainly in double figures of Tuesday night games, probably looking towards 15 to 20 Tuesday night games. Because I think there's only 34 weekends in the season. There's 46 league games, so there's 12 straight away, plus all your cups. So you're probably looking towards, you could be 20 Saturday, Tuesday, Saturdays. So we've looked at that. We'll tweak a few things in terms of to what we did last season, in terms of the recovery. But no, we hopefully prepare as best we can.
And clearly one of the real frustrations around lockdown was the momentum you had going into that period. Yes, you've got some changes to your squad inevitably, but is it a case of, can you take a lot of what was good about the side in that January, February period and take it into the restart? Or do you have to be quite pragmatic and view it as a new thing?
Well, we'll play the same way we always tried to play. And whereas last season, we brought in a lot of new players. This season, and the recruitment we did last season will pay dividends for this season, because we looked at it regardless of what league we were going to be in. Obviously, the hope was Championship, where we felt that these players could cope with that. So there's not going to be 6, 7 new players coming into the building. 90% of the squad will stay intact. Obviously, 1 or 2 will probably move on, and we'll bring 1 or 2 in if we can. But they all know the way I want to play. It's not as if we're starting from scratch. And I think that'll give us a big advantage, you know. And in terms of last season, it's gone now. We can't do anything about it. We just have to prepare as best we can for this season. Pre-season for me is all about trying to get as many players fit for that first game as possible. And that's my main concern.
Is everyone looking fit at the moment? Jack Taylor all right after his hamstring?
Every player that had a problem going into lockdown is now fine. That's the one benefit we got out of it. Thompson had an injury, Kent had an injury, Taylor had an injury. Those 3 are fine. So there's no concerns with anyone. Dan Butler had a slight little small operation on his groin that was causing him problems last season. But he would be back playing probably in a couple of weeks, so there's no danger of him missing the season or anything, start the season.
Yeah, and in terms of tweaking the squad, does it go without saying that it's the midfield area that will command your attention most of all? I guess you've got the ongoing situation with Ivan as well, but is midfield sort of top of your list?
Well, the 3 positions we need to fill are certainly another goalkeeper, 1 central midfield player, if not 2. And then we'll look at how players do in certain positions over pre-season. Obviously, we need to find a replacement when Ivan goes, if he goes, but the likelihood is he will. And that's it. And, you know, as a manager going into pre-season, that's quite a small number, you know. So, and we've obviously got our targets, and we'll wait and see how it goes.
Yeah, given all of the rest of the uncertainty at the current time, it's great, isn't it, that, okay, you wouldn't necessarily want the situation with Ivan, but other than that, it's nice to have such a settled group of players.
Yeah, but that was part of the plan last season, you know, and even the ones we brought in on loan, like Sammy, Brownie, you know, people like that, Josh Knight, we felt that if we went up, there was a possibility of keeping them, but obviously we'll have to wait and see what we do in terms of bringing new players into the club, and obviously we'll probably have to wait and see, you know, in terms of what happens with Ivan as well.
Yeah, with Sammy and Reece, fluid with the 2 of them being at clubs where the management are changing over. Is that something you can keep an eye on? Could something happen?
Well, we'll see, and again, there's the positions that they play. Other people, obviously, I've got those positions for pre-season, and we'll wait and see how they do. The one thing about if there's any possibility of some players coming back that we had last season, we probably prefer that, given that we're not, as they know how we want to play tactically and know how we work. So, but there's no suggestion at the moment any of that's going to happen. We're just waiting to see how pre-season goes. My plans are just for the players that I've got at the moment, and then obviously, you know, we'll obviously keep an eye on the Ivan Toney situation.
Yeah, with Ivan, from a manager's point of view, the club need to do what they need to do to get the best possible price, and he wants to get the right move. But I guess as a manager, you're conscious of the fact you don't want it to rumble on and on towards the start of the season, when inevitably then it becomes a bit of a distraction. Yes,
I think it would be a distraction if it went all the way to the start of the season. It would become one probably then, because we have to be. I've got to be sensible in terms of these pre-season games where not going to be playing Ivan in the initial ones anyway, because why would I risk something like that? So, but he'll do extra fitness work with the coaches and myself, so it won't be too much of an issue. But obviously there'll have to be a period of time when, if it drags on and on and on, and we get towards the start of that season, things may have to change, and in the sense that we need to start playing him in games, because there's a possibility he'll start the season with us. But there's a lot of stuff still got to sort itself out. The championship's not even finished. The window's only just opened, and we'll have to wait and see. But you know, we've planned out what we're going to do with Ivan in terms of if he's going to be here. There's going to be a certain date that we have to start thinking about introducing him into games.
when it comes to the time where if you have to replace him, when you need to replace him, can you go and is there a like for like player? He's such a good player. Do you have to go down the route of maybe getting a couple in to replace him? How would that work? Do you think there is someone out there who could come in and do a similar job?
I think there's some of the targets we've got. Certainly, our number 1 and 2 targets would give you the physicality that Ivan gives you. In terms of if I look at the rest of the strikers, you've got Dams, Mo, and Ricky. Physically, they're not. That's not their real strength. So I have to look at that, and that's the sort of type we'll be going for. So I would say that the targets we've got in mind can come in and do that job. They're proven in terms of the goals, but we have to wait and see. But to be honest, I think for everyone, the situation needs to be resolved as quickly as possible, in the sense that if we get the right money for them, we won't sell them unless we get the right money that the chairman wants, the owners want. That's an absolute gimme. And also then it gives us time to bed a new player in, because it will be a fresh player that we're going to be bringing into the squad. So, well, I'm not overly concerned about it. I'm quite relaxed about that situation. If we don't get the right money from them, then, we end up starting the season with the best striker in League One. So it's not an issue.
Yeah, and to go back to a point we've already touched upon, given all of the uncertainty with COVID, the structure of the season, the way in which things could change, actually the way in which you're settled with most of your squad, the Ivan Toney situation aside, and off the field as well with the backing from the owners, all in all, Peterborough United Football Club coming into this season, I think probably compared with any side in League One, you've got to be happy with how stable things are.
Well, I think that's the right word. Can we manage to maintain that stability in the club, even though we've had this pandemic? I think the signs are very good in that, in terms of we're still going to have a stable squad. We're still going to have the same philosophy. Hopefully, if we've got the right money for Ivan, that finances will be quite stable. So I think we could be in a very strong position come the start of the season.
Yeah, and I guess it's inevitable with those opening games as well. We don't quite know what's going to happen with crowds, but you'll miss those posh fans early on, won't you? It's just a fact of life now with football under COVID, but it isn't easy.
No, it won't be easy. We've got, I think, at the top of my head, we're going to have 3 games in the stadiums in pre-season to get them used to having games without any fans. We've all watched the games. Everyone's watched the games in the Champ and in the Premiership. It isn't the same. The game isn't the same without the fans. But we've got no choice at the moment, so we have to deal with that. So getting quite a few 90 minutes under their belts in pre-season, I think, will help them. Certainly getting one at our own stadium will help, if we can do that. So, and then we just go into the season and everyone's in the same boat to deal with it. And then, given what the government said, it looks like it possibly could be October time when they start introducing crowds again. So it won't be that long, if that's the case.